Good afternoon and salutations. My name is Calypso, aka Mint Carousel, and welcome to the stream. We're back with an octave fucking higher, and well, I'll get to I'll talk a little bit more about how I feel about this game in case you're new. But first, all right. So I went out for breakfast this morning. It was very, very good. Not gonna say where, just in case this is a local place and I don't want to get doxxed, you know. But right, so I have a tradition when I go to a new breakfast place, and that's to get the French toast, because French toast is my favorite breakfast meal. And so I always get the French toast, and if they have a specialty French toast, then that sounds good. I get that. But you know, sometimes I just get the normal one. Today, this one was made with Hawaiian bread. It's so good, and topped with, you know, strawberries, blueberries, caramel, but also shredded coconut. It was very, very good. Anyway, so that's what I did this morning. And also, you know, inside of hash browns and hot chocolate. It's pretty good. So this game is the second to last game on the cycle that I have going, where I rank them by my interest level. So this is the second to last on my interest level. Mainly because of one character. I've already forgotten everyone's names. If you're familiar with the game, it's the it's like the nobleman's son, the one who's the one who's a misogynist, basically. I don't like him, and I don't like where I think his and the silver-haired girl stories are going. Because if you remember from last time, or the time before that, I don't remember, she was allowed to have a roof over her head at a brothel, but once she comes of age, she has to work there, and that kind of thing, that kind of story leads itself into this savior thing, and I don't like it, and I don't know what to expect of this game. Also, it sucks speaking and acting as him, and I think that's actually the next scene we're doing is actually one of his. So, Yep, that line is extremely the person who I was talking about. The actual person who we were seeing on there, whose name I've also forgotten, is good, actually. He's a good boy. I like him. So, hopefully I'm just gonna go have fun with this character now, and let's get started. Except, what's this? Okay, yeah, okay, so, she's the silver-haired girl. Okay, so my best guess is that the endings are based on which one has the most points, maybe? Or maybe the distribution of points to these, relationships? But yeah, my personal preference is to make sure this is as low as possible. I like this because she only has two options, which sucks. I would love to see how these two interact. I mean, I, um, but, so I want to prioritize this relationship just so she has someone to, like, connect to as another character. And maybe this one because I also want him to be a better person, and I'm gonna just try to make sure he gets it with him and not with her. Because I don't want a these two save each other kind of story. I don't want that. I also like this because I just ship them, and I want her to be happy. Also, she only has one. Yeah, see, this guy gets 3, this guy gets 2, this girl gets 1, this girl gets 2. I mean, well, if this girl got a second one, it would be here, and I would hate that. Okay, anyway, let's get back here. Alright. What the hell is this peasant doing just standing and staring at my face? Admiring my profile? Begone! Hey, can you move? Frederick! That's his name. Oh boy. Oh, interesting. Okay, that spacebar gets rid of the dialogue. Alright, cool. Sorry. I'm surrounded by idiots. What? He's walking toward the front row. Is he presenting? He only looks my age. He's even wearing a goddamn uniform. They're even letting students present these days. I know it. This symposium's a joke. I can't believe I'm here. I take a seat at the back. At the same time, a woman who seems to be the MC goes up to the podium. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Conservatoire des Ouvertures 17th Annual Symposium. Oh, yay. Applause from the audience, but not from me. Today we have 15 amazing presenters who will be sharing their knowledge with us. We will have 8 presentations in the morning and the rest in the afternoon. 15? Did she say 15? Gods save me. My father makes me attend this symposium every year. He says it's a good opportunity for me to experience the work of the greatest creative minds in the city firsthand, since I'm homeschooled and don't otherwise get to interact with academics. As the biggest shareholder in Magical Mechanical, it was easy for my father to make MM send me as one of their representatives, and it was equally easy for MM to send as many representatives as they wanted, them being the corporate sponsor of this event. Damn this luck. But before that, I'd like to call the headmaster of Conservatoire des Ouvertures, Mr. But seriously, this symposium is a joke. But those presenters are not even here to share knowledge. They're either trying to sell something or get funding for their research. They're fakes, all of them. Applause again. Some old geezer goes up to the podium. The conference hall is pretty big. If you drew a hexagon on the floor, you could probably play Sorcerer here. There wouldn't be any space left for an audience, though. Not that I wouldn't mind. Looks like there exists some kind of balcony outside, from which one is able to look down at the courtyard. So many clapping. Another round of applause. The old geezer leaves the podium. Without further ado, please welcome our first presenter, a professor from the Academy of... so tired. They walked back to the city from Maison du Beauvoir. It took over an hour. Even after I got back to civilization, I couldn't find where it was exactly. Eventually I gave up and called a taxi carriage. But, unbelievably, the driver was a dolt. He didn't know where the house of Lord Godwin was. I had to force him to pull over so that I could hail yet another taxi. I didn't get home until well after midnight, and now my eyelids feel... heavy. 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 Oh, that was quick! Mercifully quick! Although, that was kind of funny. Hey, wake up. Elise, wake up. Lunch break's almost over. A girl dressed in the same factory uniform as mine is shaking my body. I peek up at her without lifting my head, which is resting on my arms, as I'm sitting slumped over a desk. Hey, Jude. Are you awake? I'm not sure. Do I look awake? I'd say so. What with us having a conversation and all? I get up and stretch my arms. Half awake, maybe. That's good enough to work, though. Oh, that's right. I have to see Mr. Nailton. I leave Jude and head to my supervisor's office. I pause at the door and take a deep breath before knocking. Come in. Good afternoon, Mr. Nailton. What do you need? His tone is really cold. This isn't gonna be easy. I'm sorry, sir, but I lost my mana potion. Can I get an extra bottle of potion? No. But... Listen, miss. Elise Shelley, employee C15106. Listen, Miss Shelley, the rules state that every worker receives a bottle in the morning and another at lunch break. He's totally disinterested in my explanation. He barely looks up from my desk as he talks to me. I have to make him willing to help me somehow. I suck in a chest full of air and prepare to use the cutest voice I can muster. As far as I can tell from Maison, that means I'll just have to about squeal my request. Please, 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 give me another bottle of mana. Pretty please. The expression on Mr. Nailton's face doesn't change in the slightest. Well, that was totally embarrassing for me. Like I said, Miss Shelley, I can't give you another potion because that's against the rules. What did you say happened to the ones you had again? I drank the potion as soon as I got it in the morning, but lost the one from lunch break. I remember putting it beside the furnace, but I can't find it now. Why didn't you drink it right away? Well, I was... Wait. Mr. Nailton's eyes widen. He leans forward and lowers his voice. Do you think someone took it? No! No, I wouldn't think that. Mr. Nailton straightens his posture again and crosses his arms. So, where's your potion? Ugh, he really doesn't want to give me that bottle of mana, does he? Stingy. Cheapo. If it has to come to this, I have no choice to play my trump card. But to play my trump card, you should never underestimate a girl in desperation, Mr. Nailton. I bow down my head and stare at my feet. I'm sorry, Mr. Nailton. I pause for a few seconds after speaking in a shaky voice. My boss's face is starting to soften up. He can sense that something is about to happen. At least, that's what I imagine his face is doing. I can't actually see it because I'm still looking down at the floor. When I look up again, I make the most doleful look I can. I stare right into his eyes, my eyelids glistening and my pupils dilated with longing. Eyebrows raised and tilted to the forehead, my lips half open as if about to let some words out, but lacking the courage to do so, and my cheeks pink in shame. Okay, I can't actually look at my own cheeks, but as far as I know, I've never once blushed in my life, but pink is how I usually visualize them. Huh. I promise I'll work really hard today, please. My boss gapes at me almost in disbelief. At last he lowers and shakes his head with his eyes closed. Fine. But only this time, you hear? He rises from his chair, walks to a cabinet at the back of his office, and opens it. From inside the cabinet, he fetches a vial of clear blue liquid. He walks back and hands me the vial. I take it without the least hesitation, and joy soon returns to my face. Thank you, Mr. Nailton! Then at his yes, now go away hand gesture, I turn to the door, step outside his office, and slip the vial of mana potion inside a pocket on my work apron. Jeez, okay. I'm starting to like this character too now. I think this is only like the second or third scene we have from her perspective. Maybe second, if I remember correctly. That I will have perfect control over my emotions to manipulate people kind of thing is exactly what I'm here for. I love it. I go back to my working spot, happy after successfully pulling off what the girls at Maison dub. I actually read that as club before, at Maison Club. What the girls at Maison dub the male's inducement technique. First movement. First movement. Everything's a fucking song in this game. I never asked about any subsequent movements. Yeah. In any case, I've got what I wanted. Time to get back to work. The factory produces tons of machinery. Literally tons every day. From household appliances to machines for public utility. We have a section which is about everything. The section where I work, though, deals with what people call the boring stuff. We make chassis... Chassis? I don't know how to pronounce that word. We make chassis for various kinds of machinery and assemble components from other sections into these chassis to produce final products. Meanwhile, engines, like the mana absorption engine and the magic casting engine, are made elsewhere and brought here for final assembly. But hey, even working on the not boring stuff still mostly involves casting the same magic all day, every day, so how exciting can it be? That's just how work in a factory is. You come in the morning, drink a bottle of mana, use it all up by casting the same magic until lunch, and you gulp down another bottle of mana after lunch and continue casting the exact same magic again until the end of shift at sundown. Hey, I wonder if I'm going to be able to read in the text of this game how working in a factory and also working at a brothel both involve selling your body. Probably not. And that's basically my life in a nutshell. Mine and everyone else's. I'm back at my post. A huge empty furnace looms in front of me, silent. I start to focus on courage. Well, if there's a decently realistic portrayal of actual work in both industrial labor and sex labor, if it's sufficiently realistic, I will be able to read that in the subtext because it's just reality and how like reality works. But anyway, we'll see. I'm back at my post. A huge empty furnace looms in front of me, silent. I start to focus on courage. So, Elise, did the boss give it to you? Had to use my feminine charm, but yes, he did. A clanging sound from the furnace calls my attention. I see that the furnace is now filled with chunks of metal. I think they're aluminum? Or is it zinc? That have been dropped by a machine on the upper floor straight into the furnace. I reach out with one hand. Pew pew. Summon. A fire bursts inside the furnace and the chunks of metal are quickly swallowed by the flames. Did he take it out of your wages? I hope not. He didn't mention anything. Do they usually do that? If they like you, usually not the first time. Just don't make it a habit. I know. A habit? Oh, okay. So. Yeah, okay. I actually don't think I have anything to say about that. A minute later, the metal has turned completely into burning liquid. A small door at the side of the furnace opens and liquid streams down through a pipe that distributes it to several different shaped molds. One of the molds is right beside Jude, who was just finished gathering courage in her hand. Oh! So she basically made a fire spell hot enough to burn... Well, actually, hold on. Well, what is the... Let's see, melting point of aluminum? see. That's aluminum oxide. 660 degrees Celsius. Alright. What about zinc? Zinc. 419.53 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's, we'll probably say aluminum, so 660 degrees Celsius. Alright. Hold on. How hot is fire? Oh, what a weird thing to, to internet search. Range from around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, 200 to 4,980 degrees Celsius. Okay, so yeah, all right. Sounds good. Sounds plausible. Oh, that was fun. Once her mold is full with hot metallic liquid, she places her hand a few inches above it. Nullify. Uh-oh, did I miss something? Jude, okay, no. Jude casts the spell, and heat starts gradually leaving the liquid, slowly transforming the molten metal into a solid chassis part. That's cool. Wow. At the same time, more chunks of metal are being deposited into my furnace. I cast fire again. You know, my parents used to say that I have great talents in magic. They said I could become a mage. Too bad nowadays a magician can only become a mage if he graduates from magic school. Well, you might never be a mage, but you are talented. Look at you handling that gigantic furnace while the rest of us have these molds. Ah. I see, okay. Jude is cute. Yeah, maybe, but I have a feeling that my parents didn't imagine me melting metal for a living when they said that. The metal in Jude's mold is completely cooled. It's ready to be used for the final assembly of a machine. She takes the chassis part out of the mold and puts it on the conveyor belt nearby, which will deliver it to a mechanical system to be assembled together with other parts and engines. Soon, another new machine will have been produced. This pre-configured mechanical system is made up of gears, belts, a roller chain, and a bunch of other things, whose names I don't know. Hold on, this is Elise, right? I don't know if you can see the cursor. Basically in the center. Is this Elise? Does she have short hair? I thought she had long hair. I like it, it's cute. The whole thing can be operated simply by rotating the first gear, which is kept in motion by another worker who continuously casts wind on it throughout the day. That's Jude. Yeah, okay, I can see her hair back here. Uh-huh, I guess I wouldn't have. Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. Just a little braid, and stops here. All parents say this kind of thing about their kids, don't they? They're like, oh my gosh, I can feel courage from my little baby girl. And she's like, 1. Hello, parents, newsflash, if your baby can't walk or talk yet, you probably can't get a good feel on her future magical talents. They're cute together, I ship it. Wait, I don't know how old she is. She's... Elise is like 15, right? That's another thing that's kind of weird about her and fucking Frederick. Because Frederick's 17? I don't know, man. I don't know. Jude casts another free spell. Yep. Let them talk. None of it matters to us pros anyway. Even if you could cast the strongest magic in the world, that wouldn't mean anything if you didn't have the money to buy mana potions. Everything is a commodity under capitalism. Even something as wondrous and whimsical as magic. That's a point in favor for this game. I think. I cast another fire. I can't count how many times I've cast the same spell since this morning. We do get supplies of mana from the factory, but only enough for factory work. And eating food, drinking water, and even breathing air do restore some mana. But not by much. It sucks to be poor, doesn't it? Maybe we should start a revolution. Just be thankful. There are people worse off than us. Some people don't have a job, so they can't make a living at all. Why do people always do that? Always do what? Jude looks honestly puzzled by my question. Saying, be thankful, others have it worse. Why do people always say that? Is knowing that life can be even crappier than I thought supposed to make me feel better? I love her eye! Oh! This is good! Wait. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Elise is right. Look at her eyes. It was like, just goes... her eyes go fucking dead, and it's just like, what the fuck did you say? Well, what do I say here? Yep, now that I realize just how much more messed up this world is for some people, I feel so great in comparison. Jude gawks at me with a funny expression. Like she wanted to laugh, but laughing felt wrong. She doesn't even look mad. It's more like her eyes were saying, really, Elise? We've both gone quiet. You should talk about that. Okay, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? God damn it. Ugh! Alright. Huh? I sit forward with a jolt. The presenter on the podium is demonstrating some kind of magic machine. I must have nodded off. So, as you can see, after I have deposited the chunks of metal onto the furnace, I can simply put my hand on this pad, like this, and then the furnace turns on and melts the metal. Oh! Interesting! A machine, an automatic machine to replace Elise as a worker. Yeah, great. Once all the chunks have melted, the machine automatically transfers the liquid to a mold of your own design, and absorbs all the heat from the molten metal to turn it back into solid. There is also an option to connect the machine to the next system in your assembly line, so the finished part can be delivered to the next system automatically. Oh! Yes! Thank God we don't have to pay the poors anymore! Looking around, I see some servants picking up dirty plates from a number of tables in the conference hall. Looks like I slept through lunch. I overheard the conversation of two MM representatives who are sitting next to me. What do you think of that machine? Sounds like a great way to boost efficiency in our factories. I don't think so. It may sound that way, but there are hidden costs that we need to be aware of. Oh, don't worry, man number 2. The costs are only costs for fixed capital, right? It's the amount of money that you have to pay at for assembly of the parts, buying the parts, installing them, and maintenance pales in comparison to the profit you're going to make without having to pay workers. You're good. Although if you're paying workers as little as possible, the benefits might not actually be that great. Also, you're not going to get any profits because labor is the foundation of value, or something like that. It's a little more complicated than that. But without actual human labor and just have a machine do it, the tendency of the rate of profit falls to 0. So it's not about hidden costs, it's more about you're gonna not get profit. Also, if all the people who buy your things don't have jobs and don't have money, they can't buy your shit that you're overproducing. So, anyway, so there's a little crash course in capitalist, cycles of boom and bust, and the crisis of overproduction. Okay, anyway. I forgot that there was a hand component, so there's still going to be workers, but probably significantly fewer workers, though. It's still probably true. First of all, we would need to hire technicians to maintain the machines. Then we'd have to retrain our existing workers. I really don't think you'd have to retrain all of them. Plus, that you could also probably get away with a wage decrease. And by get away with, it means you have all the power, you can just do it anyway. And who would repair the machines if they broke down? We could try repairing it by ourselves, but that would take time. It's easy to just ask the vendor to repair them, which is why these machines usually come with yearly support contracts. Finally, when the machines reach end of life, we would have to replace them with new ones. Frankly, I think it's still more cost-effective to just hire cheap proletariat workers to do whatever these machines do. If the workers start being unproductive, we can easily replace them with other proles. Ooh, another facet of capitalism! The reserve army of labor, where unemployment must always exist so that the capitalist can threaten you, the worker working under him, that you can be replaced. Alright, anyway. I see. Well, those are good points. As I thought, these presenters are just trying to sell shit. It's not even good shit. It's probably the machines. Okay, because this machine that was presented is new, it's probably super fucking expensive. Once the cost of this machine goes down in like a few, well, maybe not a few years. I actually don't know what the rate of that is on average for like an industrial machine, but maybe in like a decade or two, the machine's cost will go down, and then it will be cost beneficial to replace human workers that, you know, do things like need to eat and need to mana and think they have rights or something, and then replace those with machines. You know, yeah, okay. Looks like the demonstration has ended. The presenter leaves the podium with a few assistants who are carrying his machine. Okay. The two representatives resume their chat. Hey, do you want to go outside for a while? Oh, yes, I do. The morning session was great, but this afternoon session is rather boring. Yeah, the second presentation this morning was especially interesting, wasn't it? Correlation between emotional maturity and magical affinity? That's the one. All this time, I've been thinking that older mages tend to be better with magic solely because of their experience. Maybe that's not all there is to it. Well, we don't know yet. The speaker himself noted that the findings from his data were not yet conclusive. He even missed some control variables, as Professor Poe pointed out. But his presentation reminded me of that old book, The Magical Mind, by Dr. Shelley. Have you read it? That's the one that discusses the effect of a magician's psychological state of mind on his magic, right? I've read that one. It's a classic. It was published, what, 17 years ago? Yes, it is that old, isn't it? Anyway, let's go. I need to smoke. The two representatives exit the hall to the balcony. They're not the only people leaving, I noticed. In fact, I can see more unoccupied seats now than when I came in this morning. This is my chance to leave, too. As I stand up, I hear the MC introduce the next speaker. Our next presenter is a senior in the Department of Magical Science and Conservatoire de Ouverture, who is currently doing research under the guidance of Professor Johann Poe. Ladies and gentlemen, Franz Byron. That's the boy. That's the other boy. I think. I actually, when I was reading the other one, I thought that's what Franz was doing, but I guess not. Isn't he that student from before? Good morning, everyone. My name is Franz Byron, and I want to talk about a research project I'm working on. The title of the thesis: Study and Analysis of Compassion-Based Magic and its Effect on Inorganic Matters. Compassion magic? Gods, what is it with people? Let me give you some background on why I'm doing this research. We all know about magic machines. Magic machines have benefited society in innumerable ways. People nowadays can use every kind of magic to make their daily lives easier. Fire magic, wind magic, water magic, earth magic, and their variants. All of these can be produced via a magic machine as long as you supply them with mana infused with the corresponding magical traits. But we still haven't gotten the machine to process mana infused with compassion. It just doesn't work. Compassion magic just doesn't materialize except through living beings. Machines can't cast compassion magic. Likewise, casting compassion magic on inanimate objects has absolutely no effect. Now, there are a lot of theories about why this phenomenon exists, but there is still no definitive answer to explain the problem. We don't know why this happens. Nobody does. The benefits of solving this particular problem are obvious. Compassion is an infinitely useful magic, as we all know. Illumination magic, for example, faith and compassion, is based on faith and compassion. Overture still relies on illuminators to walk the streets every evening to light the city. If we had a machine to do this work, much time and money could be saved. But the most vital compassion-based magic, quite literally, is healing magic. The first machine was invented 30 years ago, and we're now using them everywhere. Everywhere except in hospitals and clinics. Healthcare would be revolutionized if we could make it into an industry with the help of magic machines. This brings us to my research. In my study, I have come across several reports of cases where inanimate objects were affected by this type of magic. For example, there was a report in the year 305 about a 7-year-old girl who had managed to cast heal on her broken doll and fixed it. Reports like these suggest that in some circumstances, compassion magic can affect inanimate objects. And if that's true, the reverse is likely true as well. There are murmurs from the audience. This is quite a controversial topic at such a prestigious symposium. Now, I know what you might be thinking. There have already been numerous research studies on this, and they all failed to make compassion-based magic machines. But those experiments were done a long time ago, back when we could only determine the quality of magic from visual observation. But thanks to recent advances in research, we now have methods to quantify magic. For example, by analyzing the water that is summoned with intelligence-based magic, we found that not all summoned water is the same type of water. Some water we summon is safe to drink, some isn't. Though most water has the same consistency as what you'll find in the Overture River, some water will cause a corrosion of metal. We will now refer to the latter as acidic. Continuing research has revealed the parameters needed to quantify different properties of water. Under these parameters, we can now calculate how pure the water we summon is reliably and consistently. Still further studies found how this purity level correlates with other magical parameters, such as the magical affinity of the caster and the amount of mana used in each spell. You know what I just realized? I really like how this Frederick part has very little Frederick in it, and I'm just reading Fran's lines, so it's like... so it's probably one of my favorite Frederick parts, or Frederick POVs. Have I read this? Yeah, I have. Of course, we already knew about this correlation long before that, but at the time we had to rely on visual observation or other human sensory information to determine the quality of water. Now we can do it scientifically. Even before the water is cast, we can calculate it based on the caster's magical properties. The research that produced this result is relatively new, and its results are well known, but without it, we would not be able to, even now, create magic machines that reliably summon drinkable water. Similar results have been achieved with willpower-based magic. For example, we can now determine the type of rock that will be summoned. Discoveries like this will have completely remade the construction industry. Oh, yeah. Being able to quantify magical properties means we can reduce magical science experiments to numerical data points. Simply having that data has led to innumerable advances in technology over the past generation. Still, we have never succeeded in quantifying the properties of compassion-based magic. This is a major part of what I will be doing for my final year project. The student goes on to explain different kinds of properties that may be analyzed from compassion magic, and the scientific methods to properly measure them to produce quantifiable data. I love how every character's inner thoughts in this game is like, I will explain the world building of this setting so much. It's great. To be honest, I don't even give the slightest damn. Compassion magic is, as I've made remarkably clear for years now, another wasted effort in every theater but war. Some people in the audience seem to be listening very intently, though. I don't know why. Healing machines are a preposterous idea. If you're wounded, call a doctor to come and cast heal on your wound. It takes seconds. Finally, but if it's an automatic machine, that machine's cost will eventually go down and will be more accessible. Doctors, who should be paid a lot, are, especially probably most likely in a society like this, are probably very inaccessible. Maybe you can just call up a doctor, but Elise probably can't. It was my best guess. Finally, the student concludes his presentation. Once I collect enough data, I'll be able to analyze them to find out how compassion-based magic affects different materials under different conditions. If there is a strong positive correlation, I will be able to form a scientific theory on the subject. The theory will be a strong first step. My hope is that it will inspire wider research in the field of magical engineering to figure out the lingering puzzle of the compassion-based magic machine. Thank you. Yeah. So, Franz and Frederick are going to talk about Franz's research, maybe. And that's where their relationship is going to start from. They're now taking some questions from the audience. I've stopped listening at this point, though. There's just no way compassion magic can be made to work on inanimate objects. It goes against the logic of magic. Anyone who uses magic can tell you that. It would be like burning water. I think you can just add sodium and that does it. However, for some reason, I find myself thinking about his research topic, despite, or perhaps because of how absurd it is. Compassion. After the questions and answers session is ended, the student goes back to his seat to a warm round of applause. At the same time, the next presenter gets up from his seat and heads to the podium. The conference hall is emptying out as the afternoon wears on. The audience has halved since the morning by my count. After a while, the student also gets up from his seat and walks towards the exit. Maybe I should go after him and talk for a bit. That will also give me a reason to leave the symposium. In fact, that sounds as good an idea as any. I catch up to him outside the conference hall. Excuse me. Oh, hi. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Frederick Godwin. I am here as a representative for Magical Mechanical. His mouth is agape for a second after hearing my name. Godwin is a name that carries weight in this town, thanks to my father, Geoff Godwin, the founder of MM. It's very nice to meet you, Lord Godwin. I'm Franz Byron, magical science student at this conservatoire. I think we ran into each other this morning? Lord Godwin is what people call my father. You can just call me by my first name. The student looks startled, but soon regains his composure. Is that really okay? Alright, nice to meet you, Frederick. I was being polite, you damn peasant. He should at least have the good sense to continue to use my title despite my offer. What a little imbecile. Bruh! God, come on! Come on, you little shit. You said he could use your first name. He's gonna use your fucking first name. You see, he didn't call you Freddy. Ahem. I was wondering why you picked compassion magic as your research topic. Why did I pick compassion magic as my research topic? Excellent question. I was wondering about that myself. My research topic is quite unusual, I'll admit. A machine that can work with compassion magic? Or a machine on which compassion magic will have an effect? Unbelievable! So there was a report of a kid fixing her doll with heels. So what? I wish somebody would have pointed out the obvious. That's what is known as an anecdotal evidence. In layman's term, unscientific. Well, unscientific is not technically a layman's term, but my point is that it is crazy to form a hypothesis based on unverified reports. I mean, the first machine was invented 3 decades ago, and for 30 decades we've known that machines don't work with compassion. It's not as if during these 3 decades our best scientists haven't been trying to make them do. Did I read that right? Huh. The only reason I'm doing the research, of course, is because Professor Poe pushed it onto me. I really had no choice. He's one of the most respected and brilliant minds in medical science. You don't say no to Professor Poe. Gods, however am I going to graduate? Oi, you. Sorry, I was lost in thought. Well, as I said in the presentation, scientific knowledge of compassion magic would have the potential to unlock all kinds of useful inventions like compassion magic machines. Speaking of magic machines, I suddenly realized something important. I'm speaking to an MM representative, and he just so happens to be the son of Lord Godwin. MM and Lord Godwin give the most funding to research projects, especially those that might make money for MM. If I can convince this guy that my research can become the basis of MM's future products, I may receive a research grant. If we can successfully build compassion magic machines, we will be able to revolutionize the medical industry. Imagine this. Wounds that are easily treatable with a machine, medical equipment for hospitals, the whole experience of healthcare modernized. We might even be able to make medical equipment that can treat diseases rather than just ease pain. Now time to go for the kill. In fact, it would be a huge benefit to MM's bottom line if they could get into the healthcare business. They might even speed things up by funding my research. France, that's a horrible way to go about it. You're not subtle at all. I stopped talking and wait for a reaction while observing Frederick's face. No reaction. Maybe I was being too obtuse. I mean, so I was saying that if maybe we could talk about my research. So I was thinking that if maybe we could talk about how my research could benefit MM in some way, that might be... Yes, I think it's interesting. Excellent! Now I can talk about my getting research funding. Well, good luck on your final year project. Talk to you later. Wait, what? Wait. I stopped Frederick from walking away. Well, I was thinking, will you have time to talk more about this? I have lots of ideas that I'd like to run by you. His eyebrows twitch. His lips are pressed tightly together. I don't have the authority at MM to approve funds for research projects. I am only here because my father, Lord Godwin, wanted me to attend the symposium. I see. Well, can you introduce me to someone who normally deals with research projects? No. That's funny. I think I prefer Frederick from, away from me, because he's kind of funny. Or he can be. He turns and walks away from me. Is there... He turns to me again, his eyes wide and lips pursed, like he just discovered a dog pooping on his front yard. But suddenly he smiles. I feel that something is wrong here, but then again, everyone smells differently. Actually, there is somebody you could talk to regarding your research. He puts his hand into his pocket and takes out a crumpled piece of paper. Just go to that address. He's sending him to the brothel? I read the address on the paper. I don't recognize the street name. Oh, thank you very much. Who should I speak with when I get there? Ask for You know what? Ask for Miss Beauvoir. Mrs. Beauvoir will be able to help you out. Got it. Thank you very much, Frederick. His eyebrows twitch again. Did I pronounce his name wrong? Don't mention it. Good God. He walks away. He doesn't look like he'll be coming back. Well, in fact, I don't have anything to do here either. Professor Poe has already given me permission to go home after I'm done with my presentation. I look at the piece of paper I got from Frederick. I don't recognize the street name, but I know the district. It's a bit far near the outskirts of Overture, but I can get there by omnibus. Maybe I should pay this Mrs. Beauvoir a visit. Maybe you shouldn't! Actually, this is gonna be funny. This is gonna be weird. This is gonna be interesting. Aretha! Aretha! Favorite character. Although Elise, from that last Elise scene, is getting up there. Those two are my favorite. Alright. The sun is still high. Looking at my chronometer... Did I read that? Yeah, there aren't many students outside because most of them are still in class. I also don't see Aretha anywhere. The sun is still high. Looking at my chronometer, I learned that there is still more than 2 hours until the sun sets. I should be able to arrive at my destination before the end of the day. Oh, that's when it opens. Shortly after I cross the street, an omnibus comes. At this hour, the omnibus is nearly empty, even this close to the city center. The commute took more than an hour, but I'm finally close to the place I'm looking for. I just need to find the place. I look for street signs. As soon as I find one, I walk over to it. Unfortunately, there are no signs that bear the street name written on the paper, but there is one that sounds similar. I try going that way. I plod from street to street, from street sign to street sign. Almost everything is unreliable. At times, I have to double back and try different ways. After wandering for who knows how long, I find that it's almost sundown. I'm walking along a river, stone's throw away from a big curved bridge that crosses the water. I head to the bridge and cross it. After arriving at the other end, I realize that I've never been in this part of the city. I continue strolling through a road that gets narrower with every block I pass. It's also getting darker, or rather gloomy. Has the sun totally set? I look around and catch a glimpse of a man in shabby clothing sitting on the dusty pavement near an intersection. His back rested against the wall of a dirty-looking bookstore. I avoid directing my gaze at him, but as I walk past him, I notice he's missing an arm. In fact, both of them. A feeling of pity for this man wells up in me. I know now why he is sitting on the pavement. Without hands, it is impossible to cast magic. Without magic, it is impossible to have any reasonable expectation of a good life. In this society, people like him are the lowest of the low. However small they may be in number, they are the sole level of society that exists without hope. I would have sooner die than be like him. May the gods have mercy on him. Seeing this amputee makes me understand where I actually am. This must be a proletarian district. That explains why everything looks dreary, smells noxious, and feels unclean. Why am I in a prose district? Did I get the address wrong? Finally, I find a sign that bears the street name I'm looking for. I follow the sign. Here it is. This is the address written on the paper. And I will be breaking for the second half of the stream. So, if you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this episode of An Octave Higher. If you're watching on stream, stick around. The stream will be restarting momentarily. However, I might take like 5 minutes to rest my voice. But we will be back with An Octave Higher very soon. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.